Okay, this is called the index. This little house here is the radical. And the number inside is called the radicand. Anytime that we are doing cube roots and square roots, the first thing you need to do is list at the top of your paper the first 7 prime numbers. Those are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and 17. And the reason we do that is because we're going to take this number inside, the radicand, and turn it into its prime factors. That's what we're doing. And we're going to start with doing a square root. And anytime you see a square root, there's not going to be an index. The number here that you can't see is 2. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start by turning the radicand into its prime factors. So let's look at this number here, 72. I'm going to start by putting it into a factor cake, and I'm going to ask which of these prime numbers can I divide into 72. Since this number is even, I'm going to start with 2. Now, say I started with a number like 5. If I go to my 4-function calculator and I type in 72, and I should try to divide it by 5, I can see here that this comes up as a decimal. And if it comes up as a decimal, it's not evenly divisible by that number, and so therefore it is not a factor. So I'm going to start with 2. 72 divided by 2 is 36. And then I can choose any other prime number to try and divide into 36. How about 3? I can do 3. 36 divided by 3 is 12. This is even. I can divide it by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Divide by 2 again is 3. 3 can be divided by 3. And finally, I've hit the birthday candle, so I know I have all the prime factors of 72. And what that means is if I multiplied 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 3, what I'm going to get is 72. Okay? So I'm going to take those prime factors and put them back in the house. Okay? I have 1, 2, 3 2s. 2 times 2 times 2. I've used these so I can cross them off. And I have 2 3s. Okay? On the outside, I still have this 2. And then I have this invisible index here that I cannot see. This is a 2. You're not going to do anything with it. You're not going to multiply anything by it. The only thing that 2 is telling you is that you are looking for pairs inside this house. So I need to see what has a pair. Does this 2 have a pair? Yes, this 2 has this as a pair. When it leaves the house, it becomes 1, 2. Does this 2 have a pair? No, because there isn't another 2 here. Does this 3 have a pair? Yes, this 3 has a pair. When it leaves the house, it becomes 3. On the outside, we have this 2, and this 3. 2 times 2 times 3. And left still on the inside is this 2. So you're going to multiply back together what you have on the outside. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. And multiply back together what you have on the inside. For this one, this is only 2. So you're left with you're left with 12 on the square root of 2. That's how you say that. 12 on the square root of 2. So let's try a cube root. It works the same way. The index tells you how many factors you're looking for that you can take out. So let's do this one together. 3 on the cube root of 54. We're going to start the same way that we did before by putting 54 in a factor cake. And I need to list those prime numbers again. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and 17. I can start with any prime number I want. Let's say I start with 54 divided by 7. You need to go over to your 4-function calculator. 54, clear all. 54 divided by 7. And I have a decimal here, so I know that's not a factor. So I'm going to try 2 because 54 is even. 54 divided by 2 is 27. So that's a good place for me to start. 54 divided by 2 is 27. I'm going to divide it by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I have my factor cake. I'm down to the birthday candle, and that means that these are the prime factors. I'm not sure why this isn't writing. These are the prime factors of 54. These are the prime factors of 54. We're going to put those back in the house. On the outside, we had a 3, so I'm going to put this 3 here. My index is 3. That's this little number right here. It's going to tell me if I'm looking for twins or if I'm looking for triplets. And then all my prime factors are going to go back inside the house. I have 2. I've used this one, so I'm crossing it off. Times 3, times 3, times 3. I'm not going to do anything with this 3. I'm going to pretend like I can't see it. The only thing that it's telling me is that I need to look for triplets. So I'm going to look for 1, 2, 3, and sure enough, I have 3 3s. One of them can leave. This 2 stays behind. On the outside, I have a 3 and a 3. 3 times 3. And on the inside, only a 2. I'm going to multiply everything back together. 3 times 3 is 9. Don't forget your index. This one is a cube root. On the cube root of 2, and this is your answer. So let me do one more with you guys. The first thing that I want to point out here, though, is that you always have to check the index. And the index here, what is it? You can't see it, so the only one it can be is 2. This one, you're looking for a cube root because that 3 is there. So always keep that in mind. When I say check the index, that's what I mean. You need to check and see if you're looking for triplets or if you're looking for twins. So I want to try and do one more with you guys, and then I want to show you how you can use the 4-function calculator to check the ones that are square roots. I see 180, and I'm looking for the square root. So I'm going to start by putting the 180 in a factor cake. What should I divide that by? I could try 3. 180 divided by 3 is 60. That's divisible by 3 again. 60 divided by 3 is 20. That is divisible by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 can be divided by 2, and I'm down to the birthday candle. So I have my factors, my prime factors of 180. I'm going to go ahead and put those back in here. I have 2 2's. 2 times 2. I've used these. I have 2 3's. And I have 1 5. All right, so since I don't see an index here, I know that I have to use the invisible index. That one is a 2. So I'm looking for twins. I see a pair of 2's. I see a pair of 3's. And I don't see anything that can be matched with this 5. So on the outside, I have 2 times 3. And on the inside, I have a 5. I'm going to multiply back together what's on the outside. 2 times 3 is 6 on the square root of 5. Now, let me show you how you can check that on the 4-function calculator. Go back here and remember you were looking for the square root of 180. So go to your 4-function calculator. You're going to be looking for the square root of 180. The square root of 180 is about 13.41. Now, what we found when we simplified that was 6 on the square root of 5. So if I put this into the calculator and I put this into the calculator, they should roughly match. And if I put 6 on the square root of 5 into the calculator, it's about 13.42 as well. So we have done that correctly. Okay, I hope this helped a little bit. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.